What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Wardlow here.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Hey, it is Thursday, and we know what Thursday is. That was my horrible Excalibur intro there. But
know
hi,
what that means.
we're
Hello.
wrestlingontherocks.com. Well, let's see, .com. See, it's episode 1 because, obviously I can't get this right. So thank you to our friends at Fans First Sports Network for allowing us to open the bar tonight on Thursday, which is pretty awesome. Now, because, I like to I'm giving you guys a new friend. So everybody, I have a drinking buddy. So tonight I have the amazing Six Crow. And you know what? You already gave it cheers. So what are you drinking this evening?
I am drinking orange soda.
Ooh, I like orange soda. What kind though?
Yeah. It's called Pop Shop. It's a Canadian brand. It's made with cane sugar. So it's good stuff.
See?
And it tastes like biting into a carbonated orange.
See, Canadians, shout out to my friends up north. Canadians know how they know what's up. I mean,
oh yeah.
Yeah, Tim
But
Hortons.
pure
I'm
stuff,
sorry.
clean stuff, strong stuff.
Timmy's is better than Dunkin' Donuts. I will say that. I love me some Dunkin' Donuts, but if I had to choose between that and Tim's, I'm going to Timmy's all the time. Yes.
Yeah, it's a staple here.
Now, I don't know. Canadians and like baseball, I don't know. That's just me. Even the basketball, but you know what? I'm not going to go there. I think I will say that I know that Drake jinxed the Warriors that year. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say. There was some payola going on there. So
we do
now, if
have
you're
great
wondering-
wrestlers.
Yeah. And then, Canada's getting that big old AEW tour in March.
Yeah,
Again.
they're coming to Montreal and Toronto, and I know they'll be in Calgary for the Stampede in the summer.
and I think they're doing Vancouver for the first time,
Yep. Yep.
and they're going back to Toronto, maybe, or
Yes, they are.
I don't know. But I did see, speaking of them being during big events, since they're during Stampede, they're also going to be in Las Vegas during Super Bowl,
Oh, nice.
which is interesting. So I don't know. That's a very expensive time to go. So we will not be seeing me
No.
at those at AEW. Sorry. We've already done over here. We've done a bunch of AEW to last me a lifetime this year.
Yeah,
But
it's
you
free
know,
on TV.
it is as I rock my Revolution shirt. I'm not sure where they're going to do that this year, but it will be very interesting because obviously that's Sting's last match. So
North Carolina.
yeah, waiting. I do hope that he has snow. I miss the snow that he used to come out with, and damn it, I want to see that one last time.
Yeah, that would be a nice send off.
Mhm. Yeah, that would be a great send off. Don't need to see Flair again, but
No.
yeah.
Do you have a dream opponent for his last match? Do you have?
I don't know. I think I don't even know. I think one of the things I was thinking is, and we're pretty big on this one, the father and son, him versus Darby. But
Right.
I who knows? The way Tony Khan books, I mean, who knows? He might even like pay to get, I don't know, someone to come out of retirement, not Flair, but somebody else
From his
and has this
past.
big, nostalgic, he wants to see it again because he's a big fanboy. But I don't
You
know.
don't
But
think Adam Copeland would do that?
I don't know.
Because I know he's always wanted to wrestle Sting, but I don't know if that would be a farewell match.
Yeah. I mean, the last one has to be something I think important and, but then
Right.
again, Tony Khan booking, enough said.
Yeah.
And, hey, but before I forget, I'm drinking. So I'm two fisting today. I have regular, you can't see it, regular Coke in a can in my koozie.
Okay.
And then my sponsored, not sponsored today, and which we haven't done in a while, is I am doing Golden State cider. And this one is the one I was waiting for a while because it's seasonal, and I am drinking Radical Pineapple. So apples, pineapples, and cinnamon sticks. It is all good. So there we go. Cheers.
There you go. Cheers.
Mm-mm. And my can is coordinated with your soda. So I think that, wait,
Perfect.
do you guys say pop or soda?
I say pop.
See,
It says pop on there.
yeah, Canadians, gosh darn it. Like they say
But
pop.
I will say soda when I'm talking to an American. So.
They say pop. They say like things like a boot. Like
About.
I'm like, that's about. No, it's a boot. I'm like, okay.
I grew up on American TV, so I don't have the Canadian accent.
I don't know. I love.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for an accent, so it could be whatever, but sucker. Well, let's see here. Before we get too far into the deep end, let's do some birthdays. Now, I know last week on episode 1, I was in Chicago for work. And I do want to say this, and this is probably the part where our friend, shout out to Bishop, will be, God damn it, she always has to bring this guy up. So I was a little upset that I didn't know that Dreamwave Wrestling out in LaSalle, Illinois was running, and they had a really incredible card. Like El Hijo del Vikingo was on the card. I think Swerve was on the card, but Boom Boom Colt Cabana. And, I have to travel to see, but I digress. But they are doing a show in February, and it is I think it's a tournament named after him. It's the Boom Boom Classic, I believe, but more to come because I only saw a graphic. But
just like a one night tournament, or is it?
You know, the way it looks like it was just a one-night tournament, but hey, I mean,
Yep.
he gets a tournament named after him. Phil doesn't
Yeah.
have one. I'm just saying,
Just
saying,
saying.
Phil. Haha. Um, so
But
I
I
did
see
miss.
where you stand on the
Yeah.
Phil issue. Okay.
Mhm. Now I did miss a few, like Mox had a birthday last week. Happy birthday. Another person who I really, I hope he comes back and wrestles a little bit more. ACH. I miss seeing him out there. But who knows, he might come back. Kurt Angle had a birthday.
Birthday.
JTG had a birthday. Rey Mysterio had a birthday. Gosh, Sunny Kiss, Sabu,
Wow.
buddy of mine, Flip Gordon, now with CMLL. That was a really interesting churn for him. But he's happy. His wife is from Mexico, so I get it. But it'll be nice to see Flip every once in a while if he decides to go north of the border. That my north. Yes. Junkyard Dog birthday. Another one, if you guys are into TNA, Eric Young has a birthday.
Canadian.
Stone Cold. God, there's a lot. Oh, geez, I didn't realize how many there were. Rob Van Dam, Trish Stratus.
Canadian.
Let's see who else. You know who I miss on commentary?
Who's that?
He has a birthday coming up. Mauro Ranallo.
Yeah, he's
do-
fantastic.
Yeah.
He can call a big fight and make it feel bigger.
Yeah. I do prefer him over Kevin Kelly on New Japan. But, people have their opinions, but I personally prefer Mauro on there. It's a little, there's something about it on that English commentary. Like when he would do it with, who's it? Juicy Gambino. I love Juicy Gambino doing that commentary. When he has that seat with Kevin Kelly. But must say, happy birthday. And because I want to make sure I'm not missing any dates, looks like that is it. Because I will say, as I normally do, there were people who we shouldn't wish them a happy birthday, but you guys can figure that out why if you use Google.
Yeah.
But one person that had a birthday, and it actually is kind of brings us to something I find interesting. Enzo Amore. Boy,
Enzo. Yeah. You
I
got
haven't heard
named.
that name in a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did you watch AEW yesterday or
Yes,
parts
I
of
did.
it?
I watched I watched the whole thing,
Mhm.
and that promo really stood out.
How did for
Not
you?
in a
How did
good,
it stand out?
yeah, not in a good way. It was like watching open micers at a roast battle. It was just cringe worthy.
Mhm. I don't. One of the things that I will say this: the only thing that for me made it okay to watch was God. Ricky Starks like fucking fly. That's the
He
only
did.
reason.
He
Of
stood
course,
out.
yeah, yeah. I was just like, dude, this long like blazer coat thing kind of works. Bill kind of is, chilling in the back. This kind of works, but I feel like I don't know. Was it me or was Kenny like bored? Like, I don't want to be here. That's what
I
the
think they were
impression.
like they were just winging it. It seemed like they were just they were just told to go out there and do a promo, and they had
Yeah,
and it
and I
just got to silliness.
yeah, and I think that obviously the two of them, there is no chemistry whatsoever. They're
No,
just like, oy, like Kenny cares so much that he called it the Winnipeg Jets.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he
There's
really
just
doesn't.
two big egos, two like basically the same guy.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it was-
yeah. And I don't know why, I mean, Enzo Amore, I swear, he's probably like getting calls. People are trying to probably book him because oh my God, everyone's mentioning him. But
Right.
I mean, I don't know. That was kind of stupid. I mean, you know, he was already Ricky was already called a vanilla midget rock,
Right.
and now he's like a better looking Enzo Amore. I mean,
Uh,
or a more
uh,
stylish Enzo Amore. I mean, it was just dumb. It kind of killed the momentum, I think, of a pretty decent show of
yeah,
theirs.
but the matches were all great. Just the promos kind of
It was
lacking.
not good.
Yeah.
Not good. I will say what I found very entertaining, and it's just probably because partially I love her, was having Tony Storm on commentary during Ruby Soho and Riho. Just all the facial expressions of, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I love this character.
I,
What do you
I
think?
watched the show on mine, so when it goes to picture in picture, the commentary still goes,
Mhm.
and she was just killing it, like off the
Yeah,
air. Yeah.
yeah. Just those facial expressions, the and the oh, I thought it was just, man, that character. I don't know if she came up with it. I'd love to know, or who came up with it, because whoever came up with it, I think they need they need a raise
Yeah, they did a
because
bonus for that because
yeah, it's
perfect
amazing.
throwback to
Yeah.
the 40s, and
Hmm.
it's great.
Yeah.
It's great to
And
see.
who would
I
have
like
thought?
how they go into black and white.
Hmm. Yes, and how she had asked, do they want it black and white or color? I noticed that when she said that, and I kind of laughed. I'm like, come on, you want to keep it in black and white? Come on, you do. But I think that it's a way to do like humor that if it's done in the right way, like I don't think anyone else could pull it off like how she's been pulling it off. I mean,
Yeah,
because it's a total departure of who she is, but at the same time, it's like really tongue in cheek. And I think that that's really, what they need, because, you've got these really serious women. You've got these ones you're like, oh, I don't understand. And then now you have this, like, I don't even kind of like goofball, but you've got this like
she's standing out. She's
very
a
entertaining person
yeah,
that is really good at what she does too. So it just is a nice and refreshing feeling with that. So, but yeah. So have you been watching some of that the Continental?
yeah. I have. I had even some questions for you because
Oh,
this is
you do?
really my first real tournament I've been watching from start
Oh,
to
okay.
finish. I've
Okay.
seen some of the G1 here and there, like a match
Okay.
here and there. So, is there like a gimmick to these tournaments? Is there like a formula that they go with?
Well, generally, because this is the first time AEW's done it in this format. That's like kind of the new Japan, like the Japanese wrestling format, where
Mhm.
they have different blocks. Now, G1, I mean, if you saw any of this year, that was insane because there were tons of blocks and it was just like, what, four of them? And I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot of wrestling. G1 is one that it's like you have to be very committed. And for me, this year it was like I can't be as invested as I normally am because there was so much. But
Right.
it's a really interesting way to do a tournament because it gives it more longevity. So that's why I think that with AEW, it actually kind of works because these storylines flip on a dime, if even if there is a storyline, but you don't see something that's consistent.
Very, yeah,
And I think this was a really good way for them to highlight some of these wrestlers because it was great to see. Okay, you've got Mark Briscoe in there doing singles,
yeah,
and it's been good to see him. Yeah, he's a jobber now, but you know, but he's out there doing
yeah.
it.
Still getting exposure. That's
Hmm.
great.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, little disappointed with Jay Lethal, but I think that it's going to be the end of that whole god awful um, Jeff Jarrett Sanjay. I love Sanjay, but Sanjay is getting a little old. I
Yeah.
think it's finally going to be the end of that. So fingers crossed on that. But it's been a good showcase. Now, I will say, after yesterday, a little upset with two things.
What was that?
Brody King. I love Brody. I'm not saying this because I love Brody King, but Andrade, I mean, really? You're going to make Andrade go 9-0 and you're basically going to make Brody King look like a bitch because he was
Yeah, he
knocked
started
out.
off the tournament great. He
Mhm.
he beat his first two opponents, which I didn't
Mhm.
think Claudio, I didn't think he was going to win against.
Yep. Yeah. I loved that match with Claudio. And that shocked me, actually. I was like, what? Claudio? No, he did not. And that's where I was like, yeah, so now you're just basically, you just are like, yeah, Brody King now is like kind of like a puss. I would never say
Yeah.
that to him. He'd probably die. But it was just weird to me. And I was kind of disappointed in that. And that's how it kind of ended. So I don't know if they're like pushing Andrade because they want to try to keep him because his contract's up. I don't know, but that kind of was disappointing to see that. And the other, man, why you got to do that to Swerve? Why do you got
I
to do
know.
that to Swerve Strickland? I was so pissed. I'm like, Moss doesn't need to win shit. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, I'm over it. And I thought he was going to go on vacation because he bitched about it when Philgate happened, Muffingate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he never went on
When I saw
vacation, bro.
the tournament bracket, when I saw the
Yeah.
first tournament bracket, right away I'm like, you're looking, oh, Mox and Danielson. It seemed kind of like, come on, don't be so obvious.
Yeah.
And
I
then
was
they were kind of going away from it, but now they're going right to
back.
it. It looks like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think um I really think that I thought honestly before it even started, I'm like, this is going to be Swerve. Only because
Yes.
he's been such on a great momentum, but I can see why they don't want to move certain belts off of certain people. So I get that, right? And then now obviously you're I don't know why Orange, so that's another person with a belt that I'm just like, I don't understand. But
There's so many belts to keep track of,
I'm like, okay. But
and
to
another one
see,
coming.
yeah, to see Mox win that way by grabbing his belt,
And
I'm
his
like,
shoulder.
in the shoulder, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, come on. Like, are you kidding me? So the bad part is what if they tie, then whoever beat if
Whoever beat that
in that
person gets.
match, yeah, that's
Yeah.
stupid because now it's like the only mathematical way I think for Swerve to win, I think now is he has to win the next two, and then Moxley has to
Mox
lose.
has
I think
blue.
the two.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Come on now, we're not dumb, but you never know. You never know. But
I mean,
I'm
Swerve
just,
really earned it with that, with that last pay-per-view match.
mhm,
He earns the title
absolutely.
shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and if that doesn't show that you're a main eventer, I don't know what does. Because I mean, I was there and I was just like, this is intense. And I thought to myself at one point, if I were at home, like I must be like, oh my God, because it was just brutal. Like even there, it was like, whoa. Because I vividly remember when Hangman spit the blood out, I was like, did he? Because his back was to me, so I was like, did he just drink his blood? And did he just spit this out? And I asked the guy next to me. He goes, I think so. And I'm like, good God, this is brutal. This is
Yeah. Watching it
already,
on watching it on
already.
TV, just his blood dripping into the mouth was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. And to see Swerve
Michael.
throughout the whole match actually have the staples.
Yeah.
that was like, what? This is like, yeah, this is, and he had no like reaction. It was just like another day at the office. I have staples in my face and in my back. No big deal.
And his chest and everywhere. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That,
But yeah, he should have beat Mox last night.
yeah. And that's such a disappointing thing. And especially because I think that crowd, they
They were
yeah,
behind Swerve 100%.
exactly. Because I think because that match, I mean, people remember that. And I mean, I think that after that match, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, that our lovely Hangman, I think he got a little bit more respect in everybody's eyes. But then again, that stupid devil bullshit, and that should not have been the last image we saw of the evening. But again, I don't write this shit. So
yeah, that should have been paid off by now.
No, I'm bored already with it. So, I mean, obviously,
Well,
I think.
we can digress to the biggest AEW fan in the room, Michael.
Hey, how's it going?
It's great. How about you?
Not bad. So, do you have a drink with you? Because we need to know.
I have
Water.
water with me. I don't.
Oh,
I eat like really terribly. Water is the one thing. What I drink is the one thing like saving grace. I probably drink I don't know how many ounces of water a day. So,
well, awesome.
So that's-
And remember, you guys, it's not about what you drink; it's about who you're drinking with. So, cheers to everybody. That's our motto. Take a drink.
there you go.
So AEW. So what did you think about last night's Continental Classic? Were you disappointed? Were you?
Did you watch it?
Woo?
I did not watch it at all.
Oh,
I'm
oh.
not as Six will tell you to say I'm not an avid AEW supporter is putting just a little bit mildly. So that's the tag name tribalism for life. The sarcasm dripping, dripping with sarcasm. So
yeah, Tony is, basically I thought that Tony can't have good things. He always has to ruin it. That was the mantra.
right.
And
They're
I'm
bragging that they were number one last night.
One of what?
Yeah, one of what? Did you beat like I don't know. I don't even know what was on TV. Did you beat like some weird hockey like whatever on TV? I don't know, but I don't know. It's Tony's world and we're forced to live in it. That's all. That is all.
They're number one. They're number one at matches with no storylines. They're number one at gratuitous violence for the sake of blood.
Yep.
They're number one at women getting 5 minutes a week. They're number one at Tony Khan having no ability to stand up to people backstage. And
thank you.
They're number one at I don't know, perhaps losing the TV deal to their competitors right out from under their nose. So, number one,
I need to see something.
They're crushing it.
Watch something cringe, Michael. Watch the Jericho Omega promo. From
good Lord, good Lord, good Lord.
Where they
they
bring up Enzo just to keep it going.
Yeah, Enzo Amore's getting some independent bookings now. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, no. And also, let's not forget, and of course I have to do this and be that person. Yeah. They're number one at having the best ass in fucking wrestling. And we'll say that.
Who would that
be? Yeah. If everyone knows me, they know what I'm talking about. So we always have to talk about that. And for Digi, we're talking about peaches. Anyways. But yeah, no, Tony. I don't understand Tony. He wants to be everyone's best friend, and he doesn't know how to do that. He doesn't work friendships very well because he's a sucker.
Well, the fact, like the first time that I really dawned on me, like the kind of douchebag that we're dealing with, is he and Bully and Tommy Dreamer. They were hosting Busted Open. This was probably 3 years ago.
Okay.
And for several years there, they had Tony Khan there on every Wednesday, called it Tony Time. And it was just basically a 30-minute infomercial. He would just run down the card. LaGreca would try to ask him questions, and no, he's still running down the card. It was just really funny. It was really funny cycle. Anyhow, Bully one day he's hosting, and he decides to ask him about rules, because that was one thing that he really took contention with. He's like, man, with the refs, they just let them go out there and do whatever they want to do. You could actually hear Jim Ross in commentary. Jim Ross would get frustrated, like, what are we doing? You know, we're not holding anybody accountable for anything. So he brought it up. And Tony Khan, who I affectionately name him many things, one of those is Snowman. He got hot and bothered like really quickly, and you could feel the tension there on the air, and to the point that in my mind I'm like, if they don't make good business out of this, like he should have Bully like on TV next week. Like they could make a boatload of money if they would just take this real life criticism, you know, and do like what normal business people do in entertainment, and let's make some money. And for the next 3 years, like anytime if Bully was hosting on Wednesdays, which is the normal Tony time day, if LaGreca was out and Bully was hosting his place, Tony wouldn't show up. No coincidence there. No coincidence. There's a reason why you'll still see him every once in a blue moon, and I say still see him. I haven't watched AEW regularly in probably 6 months. I'll pop it in every once in a blue moon to see a MJF promo or something like that. But every now and then you'll still see a sign that says TK fears Bully.
Yeah.
And that's what it's referring to. You'll see one every.
Okay, I get it.
With Easter eggs
there. So and now you flash forward to right now, where WWE is getting ready to make a boatload off of real life animosity with Seth and Punk.
Mm-hmm.
Look what he had right there on his plate with the Young Cucks and Kenny Omega and Punk, but refused to like bring everybody. Didn't have the guts, didn't have the balls, whatever, to bring everybody together and sit down with them. And I'm like, Edge literally banged Matt Hardy's girl, and they made money, and they made a boatload of money off of it.
Yeah.
You know, these guys hurt their feelings, and you can't sit down. You know, that's the difference. You know, and the most hilarious thing now is that Bryan Danielson. I'll always call him Daniel Bryan, regardless, whatever. But that now the front man for punishment. That, like, you know, well, it's his decision. It's like, come on, dude.
It's
you don't have any balls, man. Just admit it. The best thing for that company would be if somebody else there's a lot of talent over there, but the best thing for them if somebody came in and either bought them out, or if he just says, hey, I'm backing out completely. I'm paying for this operation. Paul Heyman or whoever. Pick a name of somebody who knows how to run something.
He won't do that.
The ball's yours. Take it and run with it.
He won't do that.
But that won't happen. So I think they kind of peaked, you know, and the funny thing is, and I don't want to keep going on about this, but you know, the idea there for a while was that Punk wasn't a draw because their numbers ratings wise didn't really increase with him. But the moment that he left, their numbers tanked. So it's like Punk didn't necessarily increase viewers, but he held the ship steady. And the moment that he bounced, like overnight, they're losing 100, 150, 200,000 viewers, you know, every Wednesday.
I saw that graph you posted where when Punk showed up with Seth, the rating spike.
And that's with 2 NFL games going on.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's 2 NFL games, and Punk literally, I mean, I think they averaged between a 1.4 and a 1.5 with most segments. And they were
like 1.9 or something.
1.8 or 1.9, something like that.
Yeah.
So
I think Tony's biggest mistake, and he should have done this, and I think this would have probably eclipsed with Seth. He should have had the balls to do Cabana and Punk, because that's what people really want to see. And, you know, I'm not saying this because I love Cabana or not, and I hate Phil, but I'm just saying It's because it's like that was the guy that pretty much was the catalyst of all of all of this bullshit. And he didn't do anything, didn't say anything. He went along with it. But it's like people want to see that. It's like this has been years coming. It has been. And that would have been like, damn, dude, you just like, you just like basically this is
Well, who
like
wouldn't pull the trigger on it?
Mhm. I'd pay good money. I would pay good money to be in the front row. Good money. They don't understand. I would pay so much money, probably be the only one in a Colt Cabana shirt, but you know what? Hey, it happens. But I mean, that's where it should have been. And I always find it bullshit that I'm waiting for the day it comes out where I'm like, Phil, I know you fucking told Tony you're not going to work if that guy's there. I'm pretty sure you did because you're an asshole. So,
So,
hey.
so you're obviously not a Punk fan. Tell me why.
No, I don't like Phil. No. And it's my thing with Phil, again, part of it is because, obviously I love Colt Cabana. I feel like did him dirty. But also, with Phil, I'm like, you're not as great as you really think you are. You're not. I mean, because look, when he came into AEW, he looked like a piece of shit. And then now I'm like, oh yeah, you work out to go back home.
Yeah.
Real good, dude. So
I had stopped watching for a good little while there, so I wasn't even particularly tuned in to the Punk Colt Cabana, all that stuff that happened, and I haven't taken the time to search out everything that happened.
was
Obviously, it was
it's been years in the making.
still
Years
being
in the making. That
these
lawsuit, people brought it up, and I'm like, yeah, that's the bad thing to do. But also, too, at the end of the day, what a lot of people do not know is that it's well known through like wrestlers and the general public now that at Pro Wrestling Tees, there's what they call a Colt Cabana tax, and he gets he gets $1, I believe, off of every shirt.
Wow.
I think with Phil, because he actually, from what I was told, he actually wanted Pro Wrestling Tees to pull out of AEW and that whole thing. But because it makes so much money, they were like, no, we can't do that because of the money. Then he says, well, I need something because, I can't support this. So I think he now makes $3 off of every Punk shirt. Yeah. But
Well,
you know what? That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't put your people's dirty laundry out there. That Muffin Gate backstage, I'm like, that was not necessary. Not necessary. Like,
but even
following
that,
him, yeah.
but even that right there, like some people can look at that as a criticism of Punk, and I get it. I understand why some would. To me, the owner of the company, could you imagine CM Punk doing that beside Vince McMahon? Like, I'm not talking about 60-year-old Vince McMahon. I'm talking about mustache Vince McMahon walking with a cane right now, like pistol
He'd
whip.
have a heart attack.
Like, can you imagine him doing that with Triple H? Like, heck no.
No.
Like, there's just a difference in leadership and balls and a litany of other things. Accountability. It's just hilarious. That to me, he was the one who came out of that looking the worst, Tony Khan, and it's reflective. You see how it's played out in the company of all the decisions. It was very much a forebear of what's to come, I think.
Yeah, I think if people really want to go there, and I had said this, I think back on in episode 1, I had said that, when Cody and the Bucks and Kenny, like when they did All In originally, that was something that was like really special. I don't agree with them using All In now and having it in London. I don't agree with that. But this was not the company that they were going to make. And that's why I think you see the exodus of people like QT Marshall and some other people who are like, yeah, it's not the same. And I think that when you have people like the Bucks, like, a lot of people, shit on them. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to think about it is this was not how everything was supposed to be. I mean, Tony didn't like the fact that Cody was really getting into, being backstage and doing all of that. He didn't like it, and it happens. So I think
Now he
that,
has Brian
Behind,
Danielson.
you mean backstage? Are you talking about like leadership,
yep,
production,
leadership.
training?
Well, yeah, well, because now since Brian's on his last year, yeah, because he needs someone back there. But honestly, to be quite honest, it's more of, dude, your wrestlers all think, and I'm not speaking for anyone, but this is the consensus, I think, is that you you play favorites, okay? You really kind of don't know what you're doing. But a lot of them are also offended at the fact that there's so many of them and it's always the same people over and over again that,
They're his favorite toys.
yeah, it's like, why would you want to stay? And that's why I find it fascinating with, like I was saying earlier with Andrade. Like, really? You're gonna make you're gonna make Brody King a bitch, for what? A guy who's probably gonna go back to
Mr. Flair.
WWE because that's where his old lady is. So,
And I haven't watched regularly in more than 6 months, so it's
Oh, yeah.
part of this isn't even fair for me to say. But I watched enough. I bought enough pay-per-views. I know the MO is get heat from the internet from not featuring talent XYZ, put them on TV for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then forget they exist for the next 6 months. So
They've done it to Wardlow 3 times.
What's that?
They've done to Wardlow 3 times now.
Yes.
Yeah, poor guy.
They crushed that guy, man. But yeah, Andrade got him a win, and 4 weeks from now he'll be back doing whatever, and counting down the days.
He'll be in the Rumble.
Yeah, Andrade, they'll definitely be back in WWE.
Oh yeah. I think what's really interesting is that with his toys, it's very interesting that you see, like, for example, I'm gonna use House of Black, love them, but he kind of really isn't pushing Malachi Black out there. But
I haven't seen him on TV in a while.
No, last time he was wrestling with Buddy Matthews, and I think this was like maybe a couple weeks ago, and that was it.
They're doing that whole gimmick where they were turning the lights on and off.
Mm-hmm. They still do that?
No, they stopped it.
Yeah, I mean,
a 2-week story and then disappears.
Mm-hmm. And then, but I think that the only thing really now with House of Black that really makes them interesting, obviously, Brody King, and then of course, freaking Julia Hart. Oh God,
yeah,
she's gotten so good. I mean, I think that she's probably the only one who came in like, oh my God, this girl is so awful. To holy shit, she's pretty damn good.
She would went through NXT. She would be great.
Even better. Yeah. Same with like Anna Jay.
The women in NXT are like on another level right now.
Yeah, it's almost not fair though. That's the thing, because I mean,
so there's 2 things with NXT. They have a completely different approach to recruiting. Mm-hmm. They're going after, like they've blatantly said, we're going after high caliber, especially Division I college athletes. Mm-hmm. So there's a distinct
breakout tournament, all college.
Like, guys, you look at the athleticism of Tiffany Stratton and you compare it to an Anna Jay or even a Julia Black or whoever, or excuse me, Julia Hart. You compare to them, it's just night and day. And I mean, that's just one example. I mean, and Tiffany's the top, as far as that goes. But there's they pursue them. They say for the athletic advantage. They also say that D1 athletes are used to being coached. And so they're used to being willing to work hard. They're willing to be coached and say, okay, here's the right way to do things. In other words, we'd rather get somebody in here who's 21 years old, who's literally never done this, than somebody who's 23 years old and who's been doing this for, 3 years.
Trained in their backyard.
Yeah.
So, so that is the difference in approach. The the women's division in NXT is so deep. There's like 5 girls right now that they could call up and just have the potential to have big time futures. I think, honestly, I think part of where WWE's women or women are in terms of like the main roster, I think they're giving some of them time to sink or swim a little bit and see who can come up and who can kind of hold their own. Because eventually these girls, they're coming. That crop is coming. And Tiff, Rox, Cora Jade, you got 3 or 4 more that are down there that can make an impact pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
I'm a big NXT I stayed on board with 2.0, and now I kind of feel like the proud pop because I'm seeing the investment was made then. I'm seeing it play through on the other side, and it's pretty awesome. So
It's almost back to the gold level.
yeah, well, it's a perfect hybrid. That's what I said in the on the Zoom. It's a perfect hybrid model. Now it is pairing weekly television with also the ability to train and prepare, people for the main roster. It's not. It's like where Black and Gold was almost like we want to put on great television, prove that you can be effective here. Okay, now go to the main roster and do your own thing, and see if you can sink or swim. See if you can make it up there. Now we're putting on good quality television, and we may even have acts down here at NXT that we know, for instance, like Chase U. Chase U is very interesting, right? Very entertaining. It's never going to play on the main roster, but it's down there. Chase U's is there right now because of Thea Hale. That's going to be you're going to look at Chase U and say the lasting legacy of Chase U is Thea Hale when she's crushing it in WrestleMania in 4 or 5 years. So examples like that, and so it's that blended product where I think it's really differentiated itself. That's why I love watching it now.
I'm going to ask this because we here on Thursdays for a while we stopped watching NXT because we're like, are you kidding me? And like, there's people there who are on the roster that I'm like, why haven't you moved them up? Because it's only obvious that you should. Like, I think one of them that stands out to me, I love him to death, and I'm really glad that he's in that tournament. I don't know if they did it yet, but Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, Carmelo's
a long time ago.
He's Friday he'll be on SmackDown.
Yeah, it'll happen sooner than later. I think they're just in a place now where they spent a year plus on the main roster just purging out that roster, cleansing it out. And now I think they're really lining it up to where deciding, here's who our main people, here's who we're building around. Now we can slowly integrate, take our time, slowly integrate people from bringing them up from NXT while also not casting a broad net for free agents, picking out that handful. You knew Jay was on there. You knew Cody was on there. Wardlow's going to be on there. Will Hobbs freaking screams WWE. When you look at Will Hobbs, he's like, that dude belongs in WWE. So there's they'll be able to go sniper mode now and for about a handful of folks. And I think that's the reason why you're seeing. It's the reason why you're seeing some of the delay because you're right. I mean, Braun Breaker could have been up there a year ago.
Yeah, that too. Right away.
Solo could have been up on the main roster 6 months before he got there.
Exactly.
They're just slow. And I think waiting for the right time.
Yeah, I mean it's hard because I know that Wardlow. I don't know when his deal is up, but he's gone. Because I'm sorry, you can't keep doing that to somebody. No. And excuse me. You can't keep doing that to somebody. Hobbs, I mean, putting him with, Don Callis and that family now, dumb.
They disappeared. Like they were, pushing him for about 3 weeks in a row. And he's hasn't been out for the last couple.
It was off the heels of which pay-per-view was it when it was him and Miro? Was that all out? The meat match?
They had 2 right in a row. I don't know which one it was.
Yeah. I gotta bounce off here real quick. I really appreciate you guys having me on. One thing I'll say, if you go today, Peter Rosenberg on his radio show in New York, him and the other LaGreca brother Don, they had Cody Rhodes on today, and it was like a 20-minute interview. And at the very end, the last question Rosenberg asked him was, "Hey, do you think we'll ever see MJF in WWE?" Cody says, "Yeah, I think we will at some point." He said, "I don't know when." He said, "I don't know if it's going to, how soon it'll be." He said, "But I think eventually he'll make the jump." So, I know we'll see. That'd be a pretty awesome Rumble entry. So
That'd be
There
great.
you go.
that'd be good. Thanks,
There
guys.
you go.
Cody.
Awesomeness. Yes. So nice to have new friends drop by. It's awesome,
Michael-
and yeah, and I'll tell you, I mean, MJF, this is a whole other little topic. Oh my Lord. So,
He made the rounds
talk
on
about-
social media.
yeah, let's talk about that. Oh, I will say that,
Thank you, fans.
well, before we get into that, I have to thank my buddies over at the sports fan. Oh God, hold on. Episode 1, taking a drink. God forbid, remember, guys, it's episode 1, and I've only been like hostess for like not long. So,
Now
it
you're
is
in
what
an
it
hour.
is. I'm like the worst host, man. I'm like, geez, why are you bringing me on this? So it is the Fans First Sports Network.
There you
Shout
go.
out to you guys. I owe you a drink, but thank you for keeping our lights on, because then we couldn't talk things like about, I don't know, MJF. And honestly, I don't know. So what's your kind of feel and take on MJF right now?
He's very entertaining. That's right off the bat. I think what he's doing is great. He's definitely bigger than where he is. Like he could make a big impact jumping over to the WWE ship. I mean, just a couple of pictures on the internet yesterday with Cena and
Oh,
Liv
yes.
Morgan.
Mhm.
Did a lot of buzz.
Mhm.
A lot of buzz.
That was very interesting. When I saw that, I was a little like, huh. And I thought to myself, when I saw the picture with him and Cena, first thing I thought in my head, somewhere Tony Khan is sitting there with a huge pile of blow
Yeah.
and just dunking his face into it, because he probably was like, oh God, this is the end.
Yeah, there's the writing on the wall right there. And
Yeah.
then
And
I think
I
John
get
Cena put on his Instagram MJF's scarf. Yeah.
gotta tell
And then
you.
there's the rumors he's dating Liv Morgan.
Really?
Yeah.
There was a photo MJF had recently that he was in bed, and it's funny to me that he's a cat person. That tells a lot about a guy. But anyways, there was a picture. There was a woman in bed with him. So it was not Liv Morgan. So this must be fairly recent.
Yeah, they've maybe the last month, maybe they've had rumors that they've even prior to that they've seen each other. But
good on him. Good
Yeah.
on him. Good on him.
she's a New Jersey girl. He's from New York, so they're seeing.
Exactly. It works. It works. Yep. I know a little bit of tea about one of his ex-girlfriends, and I'm like, girl, you got to stop being bitter. I'm not gonna say who it is, but she needs to stop being bitter.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, I think with MJF, it's very interesting. I think, for one, I personally think he's had the belt way too long.
Yes.
And
I
I
think
think
he's gonna lose it at the next pay-per-view that rolls in.
to Wardlow or Joe.
Joe, Samoa Joe.
Joe. Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Joe, I don't get me
Only
wrong. I
because
love
his
Joe.
contract is coming up.
Who's Joe's?
MJF's, and they might want to take it, not do a Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels situation. So
Yeah, it could be. This devil storyline boring. I'm over it.
yeah, it's going
I'm over
on.
the Roderick Strong Adam. Totally over that.
So annoying.
Yeah. Well, go see them live because, oh my God, I will tell you, I almost wanted to turn around and punch some guy behind me, but I'm like, oh, I was like, can you stop? Right. And they were doing that during the Swerve Hangman Page match. I'm like, this is the wrong one.
I know.
Shut up. Shut up. Yeah, no, it's like, don't.
They
I
like to drive a bit into the ground.
a little bit, a little
A little
bit.
bit.
It makes me drink. Speaking of, I will say, Tony Khan kind of screwed up because a year ago with MJF, he faced at the last, was it the last Winter's Coming, I think, where he and Ricky Starks had the diamond ring and the belt match.
Yeah.
What should have happened, just because it makes for, I think, a funny little blip in the road, was if he had Ricky. Now Ricky just beat him on that. He could have had the title just for that one show, and got it back. But it was more of this kid is talking so much shit about how he's going to be, champ forever, and he's the best, and blah blah. Yeah, that would have been great for him to be humbled, especially because of that promo that happened the week before in Austin. And I always think back on it like that was a smart move. And I think that people, if Tony had done that, they would probably have a little bit more faith in his booking. Okay, maybe he can book something interesting. But I don't know. I don't know. But I don't necessarily like how this is all leading up to the 30th, that one. And honestly, I mean, even if he is wrestling Joe, I don't see him losing in Long Island. I don't.
I think that might be the swerve because he won on Long Island the last time they were there when they did it. His hometown at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Okay.
And he was kind of saying, he was going on how he never loses at home. So they might be tipping that he might drop it. And again, only because I think his contract is coming up and where he's going.
Yeah, that's very interesting because I forgot that I thought he had at least another year, but I do know that I know Hobbs has one more year.
Yeah,
definitely, he has one more year. Wardlow, I don't know. That's a mystery one. I know Starks is up, but I have a feeling that he re-signed. I have a feeling.
Yeah, he'll be smart to stay there because he'll get big there.
Yeah. My thing, and I tell everybody, is if he goes to WWE, well, first of all, one, he tried out for NXT 4 times. 4. Okay. Never got that. Never, they were always like, thanks, but no thanks. Right. It's like, yeah, you've got it, but guess what? There are other people that are on the roster that kind of like, you're kind of like right now, like if you put him on the roster, it's like, aren't you kind of like Austin Theory? Aren't you kind of like this person and that person?
Yeah, he'll get stuck in the mid card.
And not even just stuck in the mid card, but I'm like, I'm sorry, but Ricochet, so much better wrestler than Ricky. Love you, Ricochet. But Ricochet is the man, okay? And he's like freaking flailing. You hardly ever get to really see him.
Yeah,
So
he's in the Intercontinental picture at best.
yeah. But I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things where right now where Ricky is, he's in a really good position, I think.
Yeah.
And then having Bill there, that also is putting Bill in a good position.
Yeah.
When it ends, I think that obviously both of them will have a big singles run. Now,
Yeah, I can see Ricky Starks having another championship and
yeah,
singles. Yeah.
I think now as much as I don't know, I'm very indifferent on him, but Orange Cassidy, he's had that belt a little bit too long.
Yeah.
And
He's
now
another one of the behind the scene guys that kind of
yeah,
are in charge.
yeah. And we hardly see him anymore because he was wrestling every week or every like on 2 shows a
They
week.
did take the title off him. It was just unfortunate there were injuries that, they kind of had to put it back on him to.
Well, they could have put it on somebody else.
They could have, but I don't know if they had a plan. Like,
You should always have a backup plan, always.
yeah.
Because that, AEW, I used to say like, accidents will, evolve. Because
they
I
could
mean,
have kept it
honestly, I
on
mean,
Mox and that would have been fine.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like knock on wood, there hasn't been like consistently accident after accident after
Like
accident.
Brian
Like
Daniels.
every week there was something. And that's amazing to me. Also, knock on wood, that Top Flight can be healthy for a little while.
Yeah, get a few
I
matches
mean,
before they. Yeah.
yeah, I really hope. And, I just I don't know, all these young guys, like MJF, he has a future elsewhere. A lot of these guys, no. Darby, does he have a future in WWE? I don't think so. I don't.
No.
No. He's too weird of a not weird. He's too like much of
He's too
I think
hardcore for them, I think.
he's too hardcore, and I don't think that the fan base could wrap their arms around him because it's kind of
He might
they're
survive in
just
NXT, but that's about it.
yeah. It's almost like he's Jeff Hardy 2.0, but not
Yeah,
as great as Jeff Hardy.
you're right.
Or and some people would say, "Oh yeah, it's Jeff Hardy without the drug problem." Oh, okay, I know. I'm sorry. I like you, Darby. I'm not talking shit about you. I'm just it's the truth. I mean,
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where
I
the career goes after Sting.
mean, I think that after Sting, well, here's my question. So since he's off trying to climb Mount Everest or whatever the hell, good on you, kid. But is he going to be back in time so he can potentially face Sting at Revolution?
That's in March. Yeah, I think he can get down by then.
I think so too. But then again, I don't know. The first time I ever met Darby Allin, I told him, I'm like, I can't watch you wrestle. He goes, really? Why? And he go, because every time I do, I have a feeling, and this wrestling in person, I said, I have this feeling that you're going to die. And I don't want to be there when somebody dies. And he
I
says to me,
cringe every time I see him take a bump.
I do. And he says to me, you know what? We're all going to die sometime. So it's very, very Crow of him. Speaking of,
Yeah,
you're back,
yeah.
back on there. And I was just like, so you're not worried? He goes, no. So we only have one life, He says, if I do it if I die because I break my neck because I did some stupid thing off a 30-foot wall, that was my time. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, okay, I have to respect that, but it's still just, oh God. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, it's just that's how I feel about that. Like that. And then I think the other one for me, if anyone is I don't want to see them die in a ring, Nick Gage. I mean, yes, he did kind of die.
Yeah.
but he wasn't in the ring. So I mean, yeah, I've seen things.
He walks
Cage
that
and
ring.
Arquette. Yeah, that was. But yeah, I don't want to see people die. But I'm thinking that we're gonna get father and son match. That's the true patriarch right there. Is freaking Sting. That is the true patriarch. Christian, you're just a poser. Because it's Darby and Dad. That's how it's been. So I think that's great. I don't agree with him doing all these bumps because I didn't think he was going to be wrestling like that. I thought it was all going to be, if he was, like that cinematic match that the two of them had with Starks and Brian Cage. But I don't write this stuff. I don't.
No, we just watch it.
Yeah, but if I did write this stuff, it would be a hell of a lot better. And I will say, and we've said, Marsh and I actually have said this on episode 1, that we firmly believe that we actually have booked some of these matches. There's a couple of them that are really obvious that it came out of the blue, and we're like, why would anybody think that? And I'm like, oh, did we like say something and somebody heard us nobody's? Like, because it's happened more than once.
Must get kind of creepy when that happens.
It is very creepy. Yeah. It is very creepy. Now, also, Marsha's pointed out other things to me that are kind of creepy too. Like, I don't know, people who podcast who actually were using some of like our takes, you basically stealing them. And, people are like, oh my God, right? Made this guy look good. Come on now. Yeah, come on. Give credit where credit's due, because sometimes we have, we speak the truth. I don't know if it's fueled by alcohol, but I will say that that's another creepy one too. Like, wrestling's already creepy. Okay, we don't need other creepy things.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just can't. And then what's even creepier? I'm going back to MJF. What's really creepy? This is totally not even on topic, but is orange self-tan, because it makes me laugh that he doesn't do his underarms or his sides very well. And I'm like, oh, look, you're an orange. And look, you're like one of those 50-50 bars. You see orange, and then there's like white in the middle. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then a lot of times you'll see on the palms of his hands, you'll see it. And I'm like, don't you wear mitts? Come on now. Who taught you guys to do the self-tan? Who taught you? Because
almost like a bronzer.
That's bad. But hey. And then my thought is, is MJF gonna leave and this whole Adam thing isn't resolved?
Well, that's typical for AEW, that they don't pay off storylines.
Yeah, that is true.
I'd almost be surprised we don't know who the devil was in a month.
I think we'll know who the devil is in about a week.
We better, because
I think so. Because whoever the devil is might be wrestling him and Joe at whatever the hell the next one is. The name of it. I'm like, these guys have dumb names. Yeah, you go from, we're only going to do 4 pay-per-views a year, and now you do one like every freaking, like, it feels like almost
they kind of do, like, they treat their weekly show as a pay-per-view. Like, they name them.
Yeah. I've now completely lost interest in Ring of Honor. Yeah. And only because it's like, quit crossing people over. Let it be its own entity.
I am so lost with the Ring of Honor and the New Japan and
oh my gosh. Oh, you know what? Let me get out of this AEW hell, and let's talk about New Japan. And honestly, like I think New Japan has a lot of really awesome things going on, very interesting things, and I think maybe we should explore that because I'm going to get mad talking about this other crap. But of course, we couldn't talk about this if it wasn't for the Fans First Sports Network for hosting us here at the bar. Thank you for Thursdays. Cheers, friends.
Cheers.
And so New Japan. Let's talk New Japan. So you've heard recently some of the big news of New Japan, I would hope, because I think it was pretty big. I think it was pretty big news about Okada.
Yes.
Now Okada going to TNA shocked me.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it's kind of almost a step backwards for him.
Yeah. But he did, if I'm not mistaken, I think he did his excursion when he was a young lion at TNA. I know Sonata did. But I think he did his there too. But my thought was he's going to WWE. Hands down. Hands down.
That
Because
would
he's
be
the
the most.
Japanese John
Yeah.
Cena.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and their WWE's really high on their international roster. A lot of,
yes.
Japan, like the Io Sky and her faction, Damage Control.
Yeah.
Shinsuke
Sane.
being featured. Yeah.
All of that. And it's just surprising to me because that's the natural thing. Because, I mean, who wouldn't want to see Okada and Roman Reigns? I'd actually watch that,
Sure.
or, Okada and who's another one? I want to say
Cody.
Cody. That happened. But like Okada and like, let's just say like a Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn. I mean,
Sure.
there's some really great possibilities with that. So I think that would have been a cool thing because I'm pretty sure Scott D'Amore does not have very big pockets. So for an Okada, that must have cost a pretty penny. Unless Okada got really humble and just was like, I want to wrestle in the States for a little bit before I retire.
Maybe it's just a short contract to get some U.S. exposure. And
Maybe.
then U.S. fans will.
Maybe. Because now they're turning into TNJPWA. And I'm like, wow, okay, because they also signed Kushida. And I mean, I know he was doing shows here and there because he was doing, what was it? I can't remember what his tag name was when he tagged with Alex Shelley. And I know he'd been doing 6-man with the Motor City Machine Guns. So it's kind of cool. But then I'm like, you're turning into New Japan, which makes me wonder, is that where Zack Sabre Jr. is going to go? Because he did wrestle with Josh Alexander recently on one of their pay-per-views. I did not get to see it yet. Bad Zack Sabre Jr. fan. But that might be where he goes. I don't see him going to AEW. I don't. But I also am shocked that my favorite person, Ocean Spray, was talking very highly about them, but then went to AEW. What the hell? What the hell? I don't get that. And he's still on some of their shows that have been booked for TNA in like February and March. So I think that's weird.
Yeah,
but
I don't. It's hard to find TNA for me here in Canada, so I don't get to watch it as much as I used to.
And you know what's funny is because they film a lot of their stuff in Canada. I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. That's just that baffles my mind. I'm like, come on now.
Yeah, it's
It's like
that's
even
sad.
even here in the States, we get hockey night in Canada. Okay. But but you guys can't get
Well, I
that's
personally can't find it, so you know,
I don't
your listeners might be able to, but
yeah. So
it used
guys,
to
if
be
you
like we used to be able to get it on Spike TV.
oh I know. That was always the easiest. But they have their own, I don't know. At least I have it because I don't do cable TV anymore. So I
Actually,
have
they have an
on
app for it, don't they?
they do, I think, but there's also on one of the it's not Peacock, it's one of those ones. It could be Hulu, um, that has a TNA channel. Well, it was
I think
Impact, but I don't know
Roku
if they
does.
changed
I think
it.
Roku has it.
Is it Roku? Okay,
Yeah,
somebody has it, but yeah, that's the only way I could see it now, or if I go on one of those sites that downloads everything. But
yeah,
um or sometimes I even find whole matches on YouTube, but still it it's kind of silly. But then again, I don't understand these TV deals and stuff like that, but
yeah. Who belongs to where? And
mhm.
it's
Yeah, and then some people, yeah, mm, lose deals, whatever. It's like your daddy can't buy you everything.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
did I say that? Oh. But New Japan, let's go back there. This year is a very interesting year for New Japan. And it's in the sense of a lot of contracts are up this year. So
Okay.
you've got Zack Sabre
Like
Jr.'s.
American
Mm-hmm,
and European guys.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm. You've got obviously Okada. You have Naito, who's also up this year. I believe Sonata was, but I think he resigned. Um, who else? Some of the more undercard ones, I think
Well,
Hiroki
Will
Goto.
Ospreay signed
Oh
King of
yeah,
Honor. Yeah.
Ocean Spray. Sorry, forgot about him. See, that's how much I care about him.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, people, he doesn't like me either. I know. Yeah, shocking. Yes, and I have a
Is
feeling.
there history there?
Just a little
Tiny
bit.
bit. Yeah.
If you go on, shout out to West Coast Pro. If you go on YouTube and type in West Coast Pro Will Ospreay, you will see kind of part of the history. But this goes back to just so people know, this goes back to 2016. Okay. My hate has just developed even more. And I will say on the record, I only cheered for him once. And why? It's because it was at WrestleCon in Orlando. And one of the matches they had, it was like it was a specialty match. It was a 5-on-5. There was Team Ricochet versus Team Osprey. And the only reason why I cheered for Team Osprey is because Marty Skrull was on that team. And I'm Team Marty. So, yeah, so that's the only time.
What that's
The only
fine.
time. Yeah. Only time. But I think that again, I also feel that Ricochet, if you're to say who's like that style, who's the man, it's Ricochet, hands
Yeah.
down. Because Ocean Spray still botchy. And people think, oh, he's like the greatest. I go, no, he's not.
When
No,
I
he's
first
not.
saw Ricochet in Ring of Honor, I'm like, how is this guy not a star?
He has a bad attitude. I can tell you why.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think, well, no, but not only just that, but I think with him is how do I describe it without being, people will tell me I'm wrong. And I'm like, no, I think that the flippy shit era is going away because a lot of these guys
Been
are
hurt.
casualties of it, because I don't think Guevara is ever going to come back. I don't know about because Guevara actually it's been said that he's like one more CTE away from being, they're not going to let him wrestle. And because it's that bad. And he'll even say that too. Like, and I think like with Ocean Spray, as I affectionately call him, he, I think, is one who has to really reevaluate how he does it. Because again, yeah, he's so young, but your body can only withstand so much of that.
Yes.
And I think that that's one like that. Because look at Top Flight, look at who else is another injury prone flippy shit guy. Darby's probably, oh my god, you probably don't even hear about it, but everyone's probably like, yeah, he's probably broken every single bone in his body
No
more
doubt.
than once.
No doubt.
So it's like you've got that. I mean, even like on the flip side with like death matches and things like that, even Janela said he's slowing down because shit, that takes shit off your life.
Yes,
You know, so
sure.
just things like that. So I think that I don't know. I think that flippy shit's going out of the way because you don't see a lot of people doing that anymore.
No.
No. But then again, something new will come about. I personally, I'm like, I want to see a whole revolution of like, like catch matching and all. I want to see all that because that's my love. I'm a like tech submission person.
Yeah. With WWE signing all these college kids, a lot of them are including wrestlers who will be able to do wrestling.
Yeah. And I think that it's pretty awesome to see that. It's kind of like where, like for me, like I enjoy watching Imperium because you really get a lot of that. That and just to hear like Walter just beat the living shit out of somebody. Oh, I'm sorry, Gunther. I know it was Walter, but whatever. But yeah, because I mean, I've been in a small venue when it's not because it was just in a small venue, because I've been in a larger one too, where he's chopped somebody and that shit was so loud. I mean, seriously, you could feel it. You could almost feel it because there was like vibration and you could feel it. And it was like, oh, and just, it was so loud. It was like a shotgun. I mean, that's how loud it was. Yeah. Seriously, it was like a shotgun going off. So, I mean,
I can't wait for him to wrestle Ilya Dragunov again.
Oh, I love it. I will tell you, that was one of the best tag matches I've ever seen. Was at Bola, I want to say 2018. It was Gunther and Timothy Thatcher, of course, Ringkampf, versus Ilya Dragunov and his partner, Shingo Takagi. It was like one of the best like tag matches I've seen.
What was that out of?
That was at Bola, at PWG. It was awesome. Okay. Like I was just like, oh my God. Like just seeing Ilya wrestle, it was just like, I'm like, oh God, because I missed yeah, it was unbelievable. And I'm like, damn, like this is like when they had that match, I'm like, this is worth the money that I spent to go to Bola. I'm like, this is worth the money. And it was great. Like I dig back in my like things. I finally found my photo when I met Ilya, and oh my God, we had the greatest conversation, and it was really fun. And and it was great because my big regret is I did not take a picture with Shingo, and I'm like, I should have went and talked to Shingo, and then I'm like, God damn it, because I didn't. But I feel like that was probably one of the best tag matches I've seen in person. And I've seen some pretty good ones. Like I've seen the Bucks and Hardys doing a ladder.
I hope that's on YouTube. I'll have to watch that.
No. Oh. Because PWG is kind of weird about that. But I can see if I can send you a link.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I might still have the access to do it. then you can see the whole collection of PWG. Yes, because there are some things that are absolutely fantastic. Like there was one, it was the Elite versus it was Lucha Brothers, and who was the third? Who was the third? I can't remember who the third was. It was not Dragon Lee. It wasn't like Dralistico. I can't remember who the third is. And it wasn't Bandito. I'll have to go back and look who it was. But that was a really incredible match. That was at Reseda. So I remember it vividly because it was hotter than Hades in that building. They didn't have air conditioning. Until like the last show at Reseda, all of a sudden we're sitting there and I'm looking up like, why is there a wind? And I looked up, I'm like, oh my God, they have air conditioning. And freaking cheap Legion Larry didn't like to fucking turn it on. God damn him. Shit, a lot of us like almost died at both or big events when it was like you're waiting outside all day and it's 105 outside, and then you go in and everybody's sweaty and you're like all like sitting like this, and yeah.
Yeah, that can't be enjoyable now.
No. And then people back then, you brought your own mug, your own pitcher, and you can have, they fill it with beer. Yeah. So then when you're drinking that and then someone breaks the seal, it's like, God damn it, I got to unpeel myself from the people that are on either side of me so you can go. Yeah. Not a good thing. But I think it was great because you got to see a lot of people that are doing great things, like either in WWE or, New Japan.
Yeah.
And I don't want to necessarily say AEW, but there are a couple of them who are on AEW who, they kick some butt over in PWG. And Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, unfortunately. My problem with Chuck Taylor was he didn't have to be PWG champion twice, because there is somebody who was absolutely amazing at PWG and he never was champion and he should have been. And that's our friend Cameron Grimes. Good old Trevor Lee. Yeah.
Cameron Grimes. I never knew much about him, and then I went back and watched all his matches, and they were just fantastic.
Oh yeah.
And now he's just kind of disappearing on the main roster.
Yeah. And my big thing is him as a heel when he was his old moniker, Trevor Lee. The promos. Oh my God. So when I send you that link, you'll see some of these too. And it's just, oh my God, it's like absolutely incredible. Like absolutely. And it's like, man, I mean, this guy can hold his own on the mic. And it was pretty phenomenal. And I miss that. Not at the level of like LA Knight, but then again, hi. There's very few people who can talk like LA Knight. So yeah.
Yeah.
That was one guy that I think was on the NXT roster a little bit too long, and it was shitty what they did with him. So, but that's my opinion. So,
yeah,
just saying.
And poor Maxime Dupree, who's like, I was just with him like 6 months ago.
It's like that was the worst like thing you could do. But then again, let's be real. That's just poor. Just poor booking, poor choices. Just like, I don't know, having Taya Valkyrie be a jobber, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Can't hang with that. I can't hang with this. It's just, I'm just going to shake my head again. No. But yeah. So, I mean, with
Okada, you think will sign to WWE?
He should have.
Yeah.
He should have. But he's always been saying in the last couple of years that he's going to retire after his contract was up. But he didn't. So that's a weird one for me. But I think I think it's very interesting. Like I know, like New Japan, I love what they've done with New Japan Strong. And there's one person that I want to like mention, and I'm so happy that he's thriving, is Eddie Thorpe. Hate the name. I'm sorry. I do not like, no offense. That's Carl. That's Carl Fredericks for me. Always will be. The name, I'm like, it doesn't really kind of fit the whatever, but I get it. So um that I think that program, that first crop of young lions out of the LA dojo was awesome. And I'm really glad that he was able to branch out and do WWE.
Yeah.
Now, I need to go grab something real quick.
Okay.
So, entertain everybody with whatever. So, let's have a topic. Let's discuss. So have you been watching the World Tag League at all?
The which?
World Tag League at New
No,
Japan, the tag
no.
one. They have a tag one right now, and it's interesting because the God, what is that? Swerve the Mogul Embassy, the two guys, the two like
Swerve
Samoan
and
guys.
Nana? Oh, oh.
I don't remember their name, but they're in it. God, why can't I remember their name? So rude. So rude. But yes, I will be right back. So pausing, and I will give me just a moment.
Go
I'll be
ahead.
back.
And to the viewing audience, I apologize for what you're seeing. What was really interesting in this continental tournament is watching guys wrestling with no chance of even winning, but trying to play spoiler to some of these guys who are winning. And you wonder what motivates, somebody who doesn't have a chance to win the tournament to keep on giving it his best. And I guess they want to play spoiler, perhaps. It's hard to say. But I really am hoping to see the new Iron Claw movie that is coming to theaters at Christmas, a couple weeks from now. The Von Erichs, who will be wrestling on Rampage on Friday in a tag team match with Orange Cassidy. And that'll be interesting. I do believe it'll be the Von Erich sons of the last living Von Erich. And I do believe MJF has an appearance in that film. I'm just waiting for Amanda to come back.
I think it's the all right.
And here she comes.
Sorry, everybody. So sorry. Had to go get the door. Yeah, so I think one more like final little thought, I guess, that we can do. So Continental Classic this weekend, there are so many great matches. And I think that let's take a look and review some things because there's a lot of people that are on the line. There are a lot of things going on that I don't quite understand, but that's just me. So let's give it a go. So of course we are sponsored by your friends at Fans First Sports Network. Thank you guys for letting us jibber jab about the wrestling and the Continental Classic. Did
What do you
you
make of
actually?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no! Did you see the lineups for this weekend for tomorrow? Well, tomorrow and Saturday, or maybe it's just on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't think there was any tomorrow. I know tomorrow I was just mentioning to the audience that
Mhm.
the Von Erichs will be on Rampage with
That's
Orange
right.
Cassidy in a 6-man tag.
That's right. That is
Yeah.
absolutely right. I think one of the things I think that's interesting, and if I'm not mistaken, I think this weekend, I think we're seeing Daniel Garcia and who was it? Because they were saying it was do or die. Was it? Let me look at. Hold on. Let me pull this up because I'm getting okay. I noticed this week that Excalibur was saying, "Oh, the gold thing," and it was blue people. I'm like,
Yeah, they
why
put
are
some
you?
matches on Dynamite and it kind of threw everything off.
Yeah, and I'm like, I
Brody
don't
King.
understand. Let's see here. Continental Classic. All right, let's see here. All right, see, this is where it bugs me because I'm like, okay, if you're gonna, and I know, like, I know how much Marsh loves Excalibur. So he'd probably be ripping on this one. So it looks like Eddie versus Daniel Garcia.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, he's going to be losing his New Japan title that he just got.
And his ROH heavyweight championship.
Yeah, his ROH, and he's not looking too good in this tournament.
No, he might be injured.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
I don't know. That I don't know, but he could be. Claudio is another one that I was like, what? You're like way on that bottom. And I know he's wrestling this weekend. I just don't remember who he is wrestling.
Did you wrestle Bryan Danielson yet? I know
No.
they still. Okay.
They still have to do that. That'll be one hell of a match. But then, you know, with Brian in the eye, yeah, that guy's a trooper. That's all I know. That's all I know. I don't even think Danielson wrestled. I don't think he wrestled Brody King yet.
No, he hasn't.
No, that is going to be one that, oh my God, that's going to be something that's very, very brutal. So let me see here and looking at the things. Well, Gold League, who's left to wrestle? Swerve and Roosh.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Went bad, but
Mark Disco and Lethal. And then
at least
Jay
nice
White.
one of them will win.
Yeah, I think
wrong, that would be sad.
Yeah, I really think right now, if Jay White gets the win and Swerve gets the win, all three would be tied. So what do you do in that scenario?
Is it set up that one's beat one that's beat another, that they'd have a triple threat?
Let's see. Obviously, Mox beat Swerve.
Yeah.
Swerve beat
Mox hasn't lost yet.
Oh no. He beat Jay White already.
Yeah.
And
Jay White has beat Mox.
Yeah, he beat Jay White. And then he's beat Jay White. So that's where it's like, okay, if they're tied at 12, well, Mox beat Swerve, who beat Jay White.
Yeah.
And if Jay White beats Mox, then it's like, what do you do?
I know, that's why I didn't know what the gimmick of this tournament was, because there could be a 3-way tie.
Yeah. Well, usually what happens is it's the point system like you see here, right? With New Japan. But what they take is like, depending on how many brackets they have, they take like the top 2 go to a semi, and then they go into a
Okay.
final, or
So then,
or
then
quarter.
Swerve can get his win back over Mox in the semifinals
Mhm.
and go on to like Danielson or somebody.
Yeah, because I think with the
Swerve can
Goldie,
still go on top.
yeah, I think it's going to end up being the 3 of them have 12, and everyone is beating everyone. So you can't really say, oh yeah, whoever has it. So we might end up seeing a 3-way for that.
Which would be fun
That
to
would be
see.
very good if we
Yeah.
can see that. And then our blue people. I'll pull up the blue. Ay. All right, let me see here. I love how people have these what if scenarios.
I think
I mean,
Brody and
we
Danielson.
just did one, but okay. So the last 2 that Danielson has, Brody King and Claudio. Claudio is supposed to do, who's he got? He's got who is this? Why
Brian
is this so
Danielson.
slow? He's got Daniel Garcia, which that's going to be a win.
And Brian Danielson.
So there's that. Andrade, I can't believe he's at 9. He still has to wrestle Eddie and Claudio.
He'll probably beat Eddie and Claudio.
Yep.
Probably.
No, I don't think he'll be Claudio.
No?
No, I don't think so. So we know who Claudio's facing still. Daniel Garcia and Eddie. Daniel Garcia is the only one who doesn't have any points. So he's on that. He's on the chopping block. And him and Eddie, I really think that Eddie's probably going to win, but I don't know. Who knows? Because I think it's more like, kid, you need to pay your dues. Here you go. But again, I'm not 100% sure about that. So, but it'll be very, very interesting. Oh, let's see here. Saturday we have Andrade versus Claudio.
It'd be a great match.
Eddie versus Daniel Garcia. And this one, I'm really kind of excited to see Brody versus Danielson.
Yeah, that'll be David versus Goliath.
Yeah. And that one's a hard one to say who would win that one.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, Brody King came out very strong in the tournament.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of,
Yeah. I just have to shake my head because it's just like it's disappointing to me because like Brody King is so good. And people, like, for a guy his size, it's like, Jesus. I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, Keith Lee, but no, Brody King, dude, the size. And
yeah,
when I think of
and fast.
people, yeah, around that size, like someone like Dijak or Dijak, whatever he's calling himself now.
Yeah.
He's another big guy, but he's not like Brody King.
He's got
Where,
mass. And
yeah,
like when Brody King did that cross-body to Roosh sitting in the chair against the guardrail, I felt those, like my ribs breaking.
Oh yeah,
going so fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that I think at the Full Gear in the tag match when he did that, I don't remember who it was to, but when he did that Gonzo on the ladder, I was like, oh my god, god. I was like in eyesight of that. I'm like, oh, I'm dying over here. I'm dying over here because I was like, Jesus, like. I'm like, oh my god, and whoever it was. Oh, I think it was it Dax? It might have been Dax Harwood, or I'm wrong, but I was just like, holy fuck!
You could probably feel the whole ring.
Yeah,
shake.
And the ladder did not break. it got a little bend in it, but I'm like, what the hell? But yeah, I mean, just to watch him like go, it's just like, geez, Louise. Like people
Yeah.
don't understand the power in that man. Like one of my favorite matches that I've seen Brody King do live was versus oh my God. Hey, Willis, how's it going? Yo, I'm high, bruv. Yeet. Fucking hate that bruv shit. Yeah, you're laughing. Willis is laughing. G1 is better. Yeah, drinking soda. Cheers to you. Cheers to you, Willis. We're going to drink our sodas. And yes, the G1, but you also have to, with G1, you know, Willis, you have to remember the fact that it's very huge and, you know, it's hard to watch because it's like almost like 3 solid weeks, almost every night of wrestling. And you have to be really committed to watching it, you know, and it sometimes now that because they had like 4 brackets this last time, it was like, I can't do this. This is too much. But yeah, of course it's going to be better. It's not booked by Tony Khan. Come on now.
Yes.
And it's not predictable. Not predictable. That one is like, because you might think, oh yeah, this person's going to win. Nope. Same with New Japan Cup. New Japan Cup is another one where you don't really know.
That's good.
That's what I like about the New
I
Japan
hate
tournament.
predictable tournaments because right away you see, okay, this guy, this guy, this guy. Yeah.
The only one that sometimes it gets predictable is sometimes G1 can, because that's what's really setting up for Wrestle Kingdom.
Right.
Now, Wrestle Kingdom, I'm not gonna lie. It, you know, when the Bucks and Kenny like left New Japan, Wrestle Kingdom just really didn't have as much pomp and circumstance. It wasn't as they were
When the
okay.
Bullet Club was big, that's when I caught New Japan.
Yes, it was.
Right
That's
when
what it
AJ
was. Like,
coming out, yeah.
mhm.
That's about
Yep.
the era I caught New Japan.
Yeah, like the AJ Styles, the rise of the cleaner,
Yeah.
all of that. Even like I'll even go back to Devitt, Prince Devitt. Gotta love Finn Balor and his
Yeah.
90 abs. Yeah, like even with him, it's like, damn. And I to this day am really glad that they found something kind of for him, because again, I was always worried about he's going to get lost in the shuffle. And that's a shame.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to
I
see.
didn't catch him until he hit NXT. That was the first time I really caught him. And so glad that, they used him
Oh yeah.
smart.
Oh yeah.
They booked him great.
He's the best. And you know what? If you're still here, Willis, you're fucking bruv, dude. Can't lead a faction. Okay. Can't lead one. He's not a good faction guy. Okay. Not a good leader, because he's going to abandon the rest of the ship. So, like I said to Jeff Cobb, I told him this was, when are you going to take over? And he told me he's not a great leader, but it should be Great O'Con. I go, yeah, but Jeff, you've been standing out his promos. Love Jeff Cobb, but Jeff Cobb, Brody King, I will say it was on ROH, and it was, you could find this one on YouTube, I believe, and it was the two of them. It was at Death Before Dishonor in Las Vegas, and it was the dark match, or the opening, the pre-show match that opened up the match that I affectionately call it was called BOA, which was the Battle of Amanda. It was my two favorites. It was Colt versus Marty Skrull. And it's funny because the both of them were like, that is never going to happen again. You need to pay. And I'm like, no, but I'm going to do that. They go, we did it already. We did it in England. We did it in Rev Pro. Like, I know, I've seen that. I go, but
Yeah, they make sequels.
Yep. And then when it was like all of a sudden they announced that, I was like, oh, who did this? Who did this? Right? Because yeah. And it's someone was like, somebody's wish came true. But I think what happened was I had bug delirious once. And of course everyone's drinking. So I'm thinking, yeah, he's not gonna remember that. But then I'm like, maybe he did remember that.
Yeah, it got to his brain somehow.
Yeah. So everyone was like, holy crap. And I have a really cool video. I'm gonna have to send it to you because I have it privated. But it was a little like documentary I made, and I went around asking people, okay, I'm really torn. Who should I cheer for? Right. So I went up to, gosh, there was all sorts of people like Sumi Sakai, and I love her. I went up to her. I went up to some friends of mine. I went up to Villain Enterprises, all three of them individual. Well, Brody and PCO were together, and that was a real fun moment. And then when I went up to Flip, he was like, he's like, hey, I said, so who do I cheer for? I don't know. And he goes, Marty, duh. I'm like, duh. Okay. Yeah. I even asked Marty, and he goes, I'm a villain through and through. He's like,
Yeah.
you're gonna choose for whoever. I don't care. He says, but
Make some noise.
yeah. He's like, we know who's gonna win. He was like, and I pointed him. Yeah. And then Colt didn't want to play reindeer games. So my thing says Colt Cabana unavailable for comment. He looked like the real heel. Yes. And I actually even made, I made a half and half shirt. So it's half of one of the villain shirts. I think it was the black one that had villain in the scratchy letters. And I took the old Colt Cabana one, the I Starved David Colt, that one.
And you sewed
Put
it
into a shirt. Had someone sew it professionally so it wouldn't fall apart on me. And I blinged it. And people were like, oh my God. Because I used to tell both of them, if you guys ever wrestle each other, I will make a shirt that's half and half. And they go, no, you're not going to do that. And I did. And Marty was like, you're a woman of your word. I said, I am. Thank you, sir. But yes. So, I'm thinking it's probably a good time to maybe last call because my drink's almost empty.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we have to do, shout out to Digi. I know he can't speak right now. And that's why we have 6 Crow on here. And I would love to have you come back again. Because this was
anytime. You just let me know.
Yeah, we have new friends, and new friends are great. So tell everybody where they can find you.
I am at 6 Crow everywhere. I don't do very much. I'm more of a listener than a content maker, but I do love talking to somebody that knows what they're talking about.
That's awesome. I don't want to say that I am one who does. I'm a controversial kind of figure sometimes, but hey, I do know some of my stuff sometimes. Not always. But
very educated on the subject.
Well, thank you.
I'm very impressed.
And then, of course, you guys could find me at Ms. Amanda Jane on Twitter and I'm sorry, it's not Twitter, X and Instagram. I mean, X, I think of like DMX, and X is gonna give it to you, and rest in peace, dude. But I'm like, no. If you really want to kind of support us here on our lovely little show, give us some shout outs. If you go to wrestlingontherocks.com, we have a really cool little merch site. There's stickers made from one of the friends of the show, Sam Stackhouse. Woo woo. And original, like he's the original the OG of listeners to this guy. Go and check out shirts. There's some great ones. And what we do in the spirit of Digi is I'm going to ask you, Six, what is something that you are, just to give us some positivity, something that you are like thankful for or grateful for this week?
This week,
Yeah.
I was very grateful for some great promos on WWE. They were very compelling. They were very real. Always thankful, of course, for my daughter Rain, who was in Calgary. I see her once a year. Very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful for meeting you for the first time. And it was a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Well,
So everyone, I'm thankful that we have the ability to have new friends that come to the dive bar. So Six, thank you so much. I am
quite
so
welcome.
grateful to have you. You can come back whenever you want. Love to have you.
Talking head.
I like to have people who, like they kind of watch some of this stuff, and they're not like overly serious about everything, because some people on the IWC just take things way too
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, I watched. I've been watching since I was 10 years old. It's entertained me. It's the longest entertainment I've had in my life, and I just appreciate it. I just,
Oh yeah. No, I get it. I had brothers, and growing up, like my grandfather loved wrestling, so that's how I kind of got into it. Then I went away from it, but I came back, and I actually came back. I did watch some WWE, then let it go because I discovered independent wrestling. So that's where my love is, and that's why like AEW I thought was going to be great, and but we're not going there. Yes. So, and I am grateful that you guys decided to give us a shot and listen to us, because you know what? That means the world to me. So, guys, it's been another Thursday Night Chaser here on WrestlingOnTheRocks.com at the Fans First Sports Network. Did I screw this up the whole time? I don't know, but that's why we're like having another episode 1 every time, because I can't get it right, or we can't get it right.
It's only our first time.
Yeah, it's our first time. It happens. It happens. We'll never get to episode 2. We almost were there once, but someone, I don't know who,
I hope to be on the second episode one day.
You know what? We're gonna try, but it might end up being episode 1 again, because
all right,
it happens. So
I've done a few episode 1. So.
There you go. So guys, that's last call. Cheers.
Amanda, thank you.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Oops. Marsha's going to have to edit this. I forgot to tell him. Oops.
Tell him what?
Oh, I was supposed to text him when we were done.
Oh.
I am like the worst hostess. See? That's why we're only doing episode 1. But no, he'll edit all that out. So, or he should.
Let's hope.
I'm like,
yeah. Producer Lady here. Thanks for tuning in. Continue to support and buy us a drink by putting the I in subscribe and reviewing our podcast. And cheers to Fans First Sports Network for keeping the dive bar lights on.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.